We are discussing from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhirastatra namuhyati. Translation: as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So, Krishna says here that how the soul is eternal, the body is temporary. Originally Arjuna was lamenting that he has to fight with his grandfather, his teachers, his cousins, and then he was putting forward many religious arguments like that. And then finally he was not convinced what to do, what not to do. So, that is why he said, Karpanya doshapata svabhava pruchami tvam dharma sammuda cheta yachreyasya nishtam bruhitan me sishasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. So, he is saying that, my dear Lord, now somehow my consciousness is polluted. Karpanya dosha upahata svabhava pruchami tvam dharma sammuda cheta. So, please tell me what is dharma and what is adharma. Yachreya sha nishchitam bruhitan me. So, what is the most useful thing for me, and what is the most beneficial thing for me in my life? And then he said, Sishasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. I am becoming your disciple. I am completely surrendering unto you. So, till that time Krishna and Arjuna, they were friends. So, amongst friends there will be arguments and counter arguments and then joking and all that. But once somebody accepts a superior person as a spiritual master, then there will be no arguments at all, because the disciple has to completely surrender to the spiritual master, and the spiritual master has to give him instructions how to carry on in his life. So, here Krishna has become the spiritual master of Arjuna. Then immediately, as soon as Arjuna became a disciple of Krishna, then Krishna assumed the role of a spiritual master very well, and then he immediately chastised Arjuna, saying that Ashochya nanvashochastvam prajna vadamscha bhashase gatasu nagatasuncha nanushocanti pandita. Ashochyan anvashochastvam. You are lamenting for something which is not worthy of lamentation. But prajna vadamscha bhashase, but you are speaking like a learned person. But a person who is in knowledge neither laments for living nor for the dead. So, very, very important verse. So, here the spiritual master Srila Prabhupada is saying that immediately Krishna assumed the role of a spiritual master, and he chastised Arjuna, saying that, almost saying that, Arjuna, that you are a fool, because you are lamenting for something which is not worthy of lamentation, even though you are speaking like a learned person. So, Srila Prabhupada comments on this verse, saying that actually Arjuna was giving more importance to religious activities than politics and other things in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, but he does not know that spiritual knowledge is more important than religious activities. So, even in our modern society, so many people are following different kinds of religions, Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, but still there is no peace in the society, and all religious people, they are fighting amongst each other, because religion especially consists of only rituals, and this practicing of rituals does not purify a person. That is why in Bhagavad Gita more importance is given to spiritual knowledge than religious ritualistic activities. So, Bhagavad Gita is far more important scripture than any other scripture, because Bhagavad Gita does not speak so much of about religiosity, than more actually speaks about spiritual knowledge. So, what is spiritual knowledge? Spiritual knowledge means knowing about the soul, body and the controller of both body and the soul. So, this is actually amounts to spiritual knowledge. So, here Krishna is saying that those who have got spiritual knowledge neither laments for living nor for the dead, because the soul is eternal, the body is temporary. There is no use lamenting for a dead body. So, in the next verse Krishna is saying that Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhirastatra namuhyati. So dhira means a sober person, one who is in knowledge. So, here Krishna, actually Arjuna was lamenting, my grandfather is going to die, my spiritual master is going to die. So, that is why Krishna assuring Arjuna that actually there is a difference between body and the soul. Deha means body, Dehi means the occupier of the body. So, Dehi is the soul and Deha is the material body. So, Krishna here is saying that the embodied spirit soul passes from childhood body to youthful body and to old age body, and the same way at the time of death the soul passes into another body. So, the soul is an individual atomic particle, spiritual atomic particle, and the soul is eternal. So, when the body is changing, the soul is not changing. So, it is very, very important to understand this aspect, because suppose if I ask when you are a child, you have a different body, and then when you are youth, when you are young, you have a different body, when you are old, you have a different body. Even though body is changing, but the consciousness that I was a child at one point of time, I was a youth at that time. So, all those things that we have done in our childhood time or in youthful time or in old age time, we still remember, because even the body has changed, I have not changed. That is why Srila Prabhupada says that you must understand that even the body is changing continuously, but because you are aware of all the changes of the body, then you remember. So, that means you have not changed. So, then who you are? You are that soul. Just like suppose if I give a Maruti car to somebody and ask him to make him into a Mercedes Benz car, it is not possible, because he has to manufacture another longer one Mercedes Benz car, and it requires more technology and mechanism. In the same way, many people, they have this misconception that actually our childhood body grows into youthful body, youthful body grows into old body, but actually it is not possible. Just like a Maruti car does not grow into a Mercedes Benz car, it has to be manufactured separately. In the same way, without our knowledge, we are changing our bodies at every moment, and new bodies are being made for us. It's just like in film role, like in previous times, they used to have film rolls. So, they have so many frames, and when they were pictured, and then those frames they are different, but when they are run at a very high speed, we think that somebody is running in the screen and all that, but actually it was being changed so fast. Like that, our bodies are being made so fast that we think that actually our bodies are growing, but just like a Maruti car cannot grow into a Mercedes Benz car, in the same way, our childhood body cannot grow into a larger body, but the body is changing and bodies are being made at a very continuous speed, then we cannot understand. And so, that is why somebody the growing up is very imperceptible. Just like somebody say, when we meet a person after a long time, we comment, "Arey, when I saw you, you are such a small kid, but you have grown up so fast." Like the mother doesn't even perceive that the child is changing very fast. So we are changing our bodies. So even according to modern science, the cells that are constituting of our body, every 7 years they are completely changed, and we get a different new cells in our body. That means even according to modern science, every 7 years we are getting new bodies. But our awareness doesn't go away even though bodies are changing. So from this we can understand that actually the soul doesn't change, the body changes continuously. So for somebody who is in knowledge, he is not very much affected by this change, because the soul is the one, he is the soul, and the body is foreign to him. So even the body is changing, but he is not changing, so he is not so much affected. In the same way, Srila Prabhupada writes, Arjuna also should not lament, because Dronacharya and Bhishmacharya, and they all very pious souls, and they have become old. So once they leave these bodies, they will get into another new body, youthful body, where they can get, maybe they can get more enjoyment, or they can go to spiritual world, not to take birth again. So keeping this knowledge in mind, one should not lament. So dhira means is this, to understanding having the knowledge that the soul is eternal, the body is temporary, and the soul changes into another body at the time of death, depending on one's own karma and the mercy of the Lord. So one who knows all these things, he is a dhira, means a sober person. So such a person doesn't lament. So one who has knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, one should not cry when somebody dies, because the soul doesn't die and the body anyway changes. And somebody may do anything in one's life, but still one cannot bring back the dead to life again, because the soul leaves the body at the time of death. So when Srila Prabhupada was speaking at MIT, Boston, he asked this question that you have so many such nice departments, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Electrical Engineering, and this department, that department. Do you have a department which tells you the difference between a living body and dead body? But nobody could answer. Then Srila Prabhupada said, the purpose of International Society for Krishna Consciousness Movement is to teach people the difference between a living body and dead body. So from Bhagavad Gita, we understand very clearly what is the difference between living body and dead body. That is, a living body is, in the living body, there is a soul present in the body, and because of the presence of the soul, the body is living. As soon as the soul leaves the body dies. And according to modern science, they say that they cannot see the soul, they cannot see the soul, but actually they cannot see the soul, because in Bhagavad Gita it is said, nasato vidyate bhavo, nabhavo vidyate sataha, ubhayoropi drishtantas, tvanayos tattvadarshibhihi. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that nasato vidyate bhavo, for something which is not existing, there is no permanence, and for something which is eternal, there is no perishability. So here the word very important, that ubhayoropi drishtantas, the sages who knew both the nature of both the matters, spiritual matter and material, spiritual and matter, both are, they knew about both the things, and they, after studying both matter and spirit, then they have concluded that there is for matter there is no permanence, and for spirit there is no perishability. So, from this, but the scientists, they argue, they said, there is a matter only, and at one point of time all these chemicals come into being, and they combine, and then amino acids and all that stuff, and they say that life has arisen and all that. But actually they have no proof, but nobody has seen matter combining to become life. That is why Srila Prabhupada emphatically used to say, life comes from life, life does not come from matter. If it is true that life is just a combination of some chemicals and the amino acids and some material elements, then somebody who is as intelligent as Albert Einstein or Niels Bohr or somebody, John F. Kennedy, when they were dead, they could have actually supplied the missing chemicals or missing material elements and bring them back to the life. But actually they could not do, because life is something else, So then it is said, then somebody may argue, if it is so, why we cannot see the soul? When the soul is leaving the body, or when somebody is alive, why we cannot see the soul? It is given in Mundaka Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita also, that the size of the soul is so minute. It is said that Keshagra Shatabhagasya Shatada Kalpitasya cha. It is said that you take the upper portion of a hair, strand of hair, and then cut it into 100 pieces, and you take one more piece of that and you cut again 100 pieces. That means 1/10,000th of the tip of the hair, that is the dimension of the soul. So, unfortunately the scientists nowadays, they do not have such an equipment to measure such a minute particle. So, that is why the minute particle cannot be seen, cannot be seen. But if you apply little bit logic, if you apply little bit intelligence, we can understand that the presence of the soul. So, how do we know presence of the soul? Presence of the soul is, it is said that the soul resides in the region of the heart, and it is covered by 5 airs, prana, apana, udana and all that. So, the red corpuscles of the blood that is carrying oxygen is actually, that energy is received from the soul. So, even though the blood, after that, if the soul leaves the body, even though blood is there, the life is not there. They cannot carry oxygen and all, because the source of energy is the soul. Even the materialist scientists, they accept that the source of all energy is in the heart, but they cannot perceive the soul in the heart, because they cannot see the soul. They do not have the proper equipment to see the soul, because the soul is so minute, 1/10,000th of the tip of the hair. And so there is then there is the soul actually is residing in the heart, and then it is giving energy, just like, and the soul is an individual particle, spiritual atom. It is said that in Mundaka Upanishad that Sankhyatito Chitkana. Sankhyatito Chitkana means, Chit means spiritual, Kana means atom. Sankhyatita means innumerable, countless. So, there are countless spiritual atoms, and in each atom occupies a particular body. So, how do we know? Avinasitu tadvidhi yena sarvam idam tataha. Vinasham aviyasyasya na kaschit kartum arhati. Krishna says, Avinasitu tadvidhi. Avinasha means which is this imperishable. So, Avinasitu tadvidhi, you know this, Avinash tadvidhi, yena sarvam idam tataha. It is spread throughout the body, throughout the body. So, when the soul is present in the body, in an individual body, then what happens? The soul is actually characterized by its consciousness, and the soul's consciousness is spread throughout the body. And that is why when somebody pinches me on my feet or on my cheeks or wherever I feel pain. But when somebody pinches you, injures you, I do not experience the pain, because the consciousness of my soul is limited to my body and the consciousness of your soul is limited to your body. And the same way in each and every body of all living entities, including aquatics and all,